Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever it is you are tuning in from. My name is Elizabeth and I am ecstatic that I'm the one welcoming and kicking things off for day 2 of the Kenya Youth Summit. What? If we were live, I would have had a DJ amp up the music and we would have had a dance session, but it's okay. Well, it's day 2 of the Kenya Youth Summit, and today we have 2 sessions. Our networking session, where Akili Dada will talk to us about what is networking. Why is networking important? And it is important because this summit, this year and the past 2 years, we have been able to bring panelists from all across the globe, not because we knew them directly, but because our networks knew somebody. You are always one connection away from the connection that you need. You better quote me. You are always one connection away from the connection that you need. And so call your friends, talk to your boss, talk to your coworkers, and network. That's the first session. The second session is on overcoming challenges, opportunities, and beyond. And we like to put this session as the last one because in our previous discussions, we talk about different challenges that we face. And so this session focuses on how panelists from every age bracket, every sector have tackled different challenges that they do face. And those people look like us. They have walked in places that we are currently walking in. So what better way than to listen and to plug in and to connect? So I'm hoping that you will do that. And as always, be engaged, be intentional. And as you are being inspired and empowered, see yourself as the solution. See yourself as the answer to corruption. See yourself as the answer to poverty. See yourself as the answer to food insecurity. Yes, you may need other people with you, but see yourself at that table where you overcome certain challenges because you are capable. You are capable. You are strong. You have the capacity and the intellect to overcome challenges, and you can learn from other people. You can walk with other people, and that's what the Youth Engagement Society is all about. We're here. Our theme this year is engagement for action. We want you to be engaged at every level. We want you to be engaged intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, to where you are informing solutions to problems that you deal with, that you tackle with. We ready? We are ready. Yes. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Give me a shout out. Say, hey, Dr. E. Hey, Elizabeth. Glad to connect. Glad to see you. And look forward to an engaging day 2 closing session. And our last session will have a Q&A. So be sure you stick around because our panelists will come and they will answer questions live and direct. Live and direct. So be sure you send those questions in because we will be watching for those, collecting those, and work to answer as many of them as we can live, but also on our social media pages. Day 2, Kenya Youth Summit. Make sure you tag us. If you get a quote that you love, it just resonates with your soul, write it, tag KYS 2020, hashtag say yes. Thanks, guys.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. David Wachira, and here with me is Diana to discuss a very important discussion on networking. And let me begin by saying, when you ask 10 different people what is networking, you may get 10 different answers. A person's definition of networking probably depends upon their use of this important personal and professional activity. However, when you network to make friends, find a new job, develop your current career, explore career options, obtain referrals or sales, or leads, or simply to broaden your professional horizon, it's important for all of us to focus on networking as an exchange of information, contacts, and experience. Networking, for all of us then, is just the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional and social contacts. Networking helps you make connections in a personal way and build relationships of support and respect to discover and create mutual benefits. It's a skill set that no serious professional woman or man can be without. And with us to discuss its importance is Diana from Akilidada. Diana Waidanji is passionate about creating safe spaces for women to thrive in their careers and leadership positions. She is a program associate at Akilidada. Diana was recently recognized as one of the top 35 under 35 in Kenya by the Kenya Youth Agenda for her work in technology. She believes data and security is an individual right, and it is achievable. Diana, welcome. And I guess my first question is to you is, what is networking?
Thank you, David, and the Kenya Youth Summit for having me today. So how I define networking is the ability to interact with people so that you can increase your professional engagement and also your social spheres. And mostly we talk about networking in professional engagements as opposed to social spheres, but I keep saying both apply because once if I met someone who is in a different, for example, I'm in the NGO world and someone else is in the corporate space, through networking, we can always find a balance on how we can work together. So yeah.
Okay. And I guess the next question is, because this agenda and panel is really focused on youth, why do you think it is important for youth to network? Is there something that as Kenyan youth we're missing or not doing?
Yes. So for networking, one, it provides you with employment opportunities. And by employment, I'm also speaking from experience. There are some of the engagements are found through networking on social media, through networking on attending conferences. So yeah, it can provide you with employment opportunities if you're deliberate about it. If you go to a conference, introduce yourself as who you are. It may not come immediately because some you think that when you go to a conference, introduce, for example, I meet you, David, and tell you, Dr. David, I'm Diana, and I work at Akilidada and I need another job. And I expect that I'll get a job immediately. It's never the case. It needs a lot of follow-up and consistency. Number two, networking can provide you with entrepreneurship opportunities. For example, if you're selling eggs, you could find someone who runs a business, who runs a hotel business, and they would require the eggs for you. Another thing that networking provides you with is more professional growth in terms of you could find free courses online. You could find more professional communities that you could join for your own professional growth. So those are the three main key things on why it's important to network, especially for us as youth in this age, in this digital era. And networking is not only physical. Right now, most conferences are on Zoom or rather on other online platforms. So be objective about it. Get in there, paste your profile there, whether it's on LinkedIn or whether it's on Facebook, where you're most accessible, or even your email address if you think it's secure. It's a secure platform, and yeah, network there. So
okay. That's really important, and I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because I find that a lot of times when people reach out to me, particularly youth, sometimes out of no fault of their own, because I think some of these are creations of the learning experiences that they've gone through. The first thing they ask is, "Hey, David, can you get me a job?" Right? They don't introduce themselves. They don't tell me what their background is. They don't tell me anything about the education. They ask, "Can you get me a job?" And I'm left with the question of, okay, one, where, who are you? What type of job, right? Is the goal of networking to land your next job?
No.
Okay.
No and yes. So
yes. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, once I come to you, David, and I agree with you, there's a lot of people who use that, hi, David, I need a job. And I'm not introduced because I know, David, you have a lot of networks. You know a lot of people. So I automatically think you should get me a job anywhere. So one thing, when you're going to network, first introduce yourself. If you introduce yourself and also learn about the other person, most likely, most probably, if it was a speaker at the conference, they had introduced themselves, so you can engage them and learn more about them and ask them really professional questions. And when you're introducing yourself, also introduce yourself professionally and what is relevant at that space. For example, if you're passionate about 4 things, you could have one thing that also the same person is passionate, the other person is also passionate about. Discuss current issues happening in the country. You don't have to go direct to the point. Yeah, and let the person learn about you. Actually, in most cases, let even the person ask you, engage in the conversation until the person asks you, do you want a job, or are you looking for any opportunities, because you really look vibrant and I actually need your card. So let it come from the other person, but you have to ensure that this person first learns about you, you learn about them, and communication is key. Active listening, your bodily cues. You can't be speaking to me and I'm just looking at other people. So even that eye contact, how I'm using my hands and everything. So the goal is really not to land a job, but if you have the goal of landing a job, be consistent about it. Ask the person even for their LinkedIn account. For me, I usually ask the person, well, the goal is not usually to land a job, but I usually ask the person, which social media platform are you most active about? I would like to connect with you there. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on LinkedIn. So which one are you most active in? And most of them will tell you LinkedIn. And most of the time, I'm always posting on LinkedIn on my professional development. So, and that way the contact keeps in, that person will always have you in mind. And yeah, if they have now a job, it will be easier for them.
So Diana, as two things that I gained from your answer to that particular question is that networking is not necessarily about a job, so it can lead to that. But more importantly, what I hear, at least from your response, is that networking is about professional development. And that's probably more important than landing the job, because the development is something that you take on with you and it can lead very well to the next job. And 3, networking is about connections. At the end of the day, we're human and we forget the human element when it comes to connections. And for me, when that young person asks, hey, Dr. Wachira, can you get me a job, before the introduction, there's an expectation from my end that I will put my name on the line, or my, my social capital on the line to vouch for someone who I don't know, right? And if that person goes and messes up and everything else, and someone asks, who recommended this person? And they say, oh, it was Dr. Wachira, right? And but if I have connection with that person, where I know their capacities, I'm in a better place to recommend them if and when I hear of a job. Is that what you were saying?
Yes. So on a light note, I'm taking a course on networks. So even as networks keep failing me here, networks now on the part of the computer age. So even if they keep failing me here, I will hack them one of these days. So yeah, about social capital, definitely it's very important for anyone to protect their social capital. And yeah, if you didn't know about me, David, and I asked a job, I went up on a job and then I go mess up, of course you'll be risking your social capital. And yeah, I would love to encourage all youth that it's very important for you, even yourself as a youth right now, to protect your own social capital that you have right now. What you post on social media, how you show up for events, how you show up even at your various workplaces. What do your colleagues think about you? What is your brand there? Think about your brand, work towards it. And branding is that one thing that stands out for you. Like if David, I came to Yes and I asked, how is David like? That one thing that stands for you is really important. And yeah, protect your social capital at all ages. Those people, you don't go referring people just because you are empathetic or you're this humanitarian person. So get to know the person that you're referring to, because it will also build your social capital. For example, if you refer me to a job and I go do an excellent job over there, or if I'm selling, for example, pillows, and then I deliver very awesome pillows, of course, you'll also be building your own social capital. Like, yeah, she always refers good people, and people will reach out to me. Diana knows everyone. So it's very important to build your social capital, how you show up online. Definitely also that depends on your brand. If you want to brand yourself as an entrepreneur, for example, now if you're in agribusiness, if you want to brand yourself, maintain that, be consistent around it, post everything around it. It's very okay if you want to post about politics. I mean, we are youth, let's get involved in politics as much as we can, because we need to shake this ground and ensure that all policies are implemented. But while you engage in politics, they can be tough. You can be tempted to use insults, because sometimes in politics it becomes really intense. Yeah, you just focus on the objectivity of your discussion, because once someone sees insults on your timeline, your definition changes. They'll not see you again as the same professional that you were in.
Okay.
So yes,
okay,
that is what I would like to emphasize on.
Okay, so objectivity is important, and professional development is important, and protecting your social capital is important. Perhaps I could just start with an anecdote. This is the first time I have met you, Diana, albeit virtually, and it really tells the story of social capital. The person who introduced us to Akilidata, and that's Kate, is no longer at Akilidata. She has moved on to another position. But the professional relationships that the Youth Engagement Society and Akilidata started 3 years ago has outlived Kate. And so we take a lot of social capital from that. On top of it, you were just introduced to us, this morning as one of the panelists from your colleague, Doris and Emma. And I had just met Doris and Emma recently as well. And so I stand on the confidence that I have with Doris and Emma vis-a-vis Kate, vis-a-vis the person who introduced us, that Diana will be able to deliver an impactful session. And indeed, you have. And so what is going on in terms of the previous aspects is there's an element of trust here, that I trust that Akilidata is going to deliver, because the person who introduced me, leveraged their social capital. And on top of it, we get to a lot of professional development. One of my favorite scriptures says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen the countenance of another. And I find that maybe for young people, it's always this take mentality rather than the give aspect. And for networking, maybe the framework, do you see it a lot as when young people go into networking, they're thinking more of the receiving end rather than what they can give to their relationship?
Yes, I agree with you. And I've been there when I was young, still as young as I am, that once you are going there, you are more likely to receive, because you'll see someone else who has experience. Now, for example, when I was a fellow at Akilidata, let me call it, I was an emerging leader at Akilidata, a constituent at Akilidata. And when I attended that conference, when I attended that training, of course, I found people who were at my age. We train university students, female university students, supporting them to get into leadership positions. And of course, at that point, I was being supported also to get into leadership positions, and also even transition to the employment world or entrepreneurship world. Yeah, with ease. So once I get there and I see the facilitators, for me, it will be an aspect of, I am here to receive. I am here to receive. I have nothing to offer. I have completely nothing to offer. But you go there and realize you actually have other skills. You may not have the money, because again, we see networking in terms of monetary. Like if someone is on another level, you just see they have the money, so they have all the skills in the world. And for me, my skills, I have no money, so there's nothing I can offer. But you have other skills like public speaking. You can leverage on that. And maybe just Akilidada may need another person, or Yes may need another person to speak on their next panel, and you'll be called there to speak. And that is something you have offered. You have offered your public speaking skills, and you have also offered your knowledge. Another thing is that you can even train others who are in that conference. Yeah, maybe you are skilled in digital skills and there was no facilitator at the moment. I remember going to one of the conferences last year. The facilitator did not show up. And I was told, could you come and please speak about digital conferencing? So I had come there as an attendant, but because the person who was leading that conferences knows my potential, just told me, you'll be a panelist. And I had to be ready within 20 minutes. And that is also the best thing about mastering your subject area, showing up for everything. And I keep insisting, please, also for young people, start speaking in conferences. I think we have attended a lot of conferences in our age, there are very many conferences. Start speaking in conferences, start sharing your knowledge, because there's a lot. There's a lot we receive from people who have been before us, and there's a lot also here that is happening in our space that even people who are before us want to learn from them. So also start sharing knowledge, and that could be a way that you are also giving instead of receiving. And it's very okay. And in, like, for example, at Akilidada, we have mentorship as one of our pillars, and we use the feminist mentorship model. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, the feminist mentorship model. That is not only the mentor that is giving to the mentee, even the mentee has to give to the mentor. So it's a 50-50 relationship. So even in networking, when you're going to network, when I ask David today to be my mentor, I also have to show him what am I also bringing to the table to make your time also, that your time is actually worth it. That 1 hour you'll give me, maybe weekly or per month, that it's actually worth it to come to me. So thank you.
Okay. So I think one thing that stands out from this is that mentorship is an aspect where we create mutual benefits. And that's a very important aspect when it comes to this. And we have to move away from the aspect of where our notion is just to receive. I came to Diana because, I may need a job and that's the only reason I'm talking to her. You're saying that we should come not only for the mutual benefit, the receiving the job is great, but from what we can offer the networking relationship, and actually see it as a way to build and develop a continuous working relationship. If it's a mentor-mentee relationship, there is this still a give and take aspect from it. We call it reverse mentoring, which I think is important. That's really good. So you mentioned something about going to conferences. Conferences, of course, are known for networking. Kenya Youth Summit is a virtual conference as well, at least this year due to COVID. How should young people present themselves when they go to some of these things? They're starting out maybe in their careers, or they're starting out in this area of professional development. They don't really know the lay of the land. What's the best approach? What do you do?
So yeah, David. So how you show up still depends on the context of that conferences. Some conferences will be fun, some will be professional, some will be just social, and there'll be cocktail parties. So, well, that depends really on the context. And most of them are announced online, because some people ask, how can I get these conferences? Most of the conferences are usually online. So be on the lookout on the sites that announce conferences. They are actually not specific sites, to be honest, because because sometimes you'll go to Facebook, see your friend has posted that, or you'll go to Twitter, someone has posted, or LinkedIn. So it's also very important to be active on social media, follow people that are also on your field, or rather in your field of interest, or even if you're interested in more than one field, it's very okay to follow them and see what is happening on their edge. Some of these conferences are free and some are paid. If you have to attend a paid conferences or a free conference, see the value of it. Even if it's free, you'll still be investing your time in it. You'll invest probably the transport to go all the way there. It's not just saying, I have time to I have time to waste so I can go there. No, just see the value of it. Look also at the speakers who will be speaking at the conferences. Once you're looking at the value, who will be speaking, would you be interested also to network with them? Do a background check, or even the attendance. I know some conferences, even on their websites, they'll show who will be attending, where they are at. Do a background check, go to LinkedIn, look at their profile. It even makes your networking easier. Okay. When you go to someone and tell them that you even know where they were experienced in it, or they attended a fellowship that you're most interested in, they even feel a bit of trust is created, like this person actually took time to research about me, or this person is actually serious about this relationship we are about to create here. So yeah, so you can find the conferences online, you do the background checks around them. If it's a paid conference, see whether you can raise the money, or you can even talk to the conference organizers and see whether you'll be lucky also to get a free ticket into the conference. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Okay. Have I responded to your question?
Yeah. You have very, very well. I think for me, as we come to wrapping up, one question that I do have for you is, of course, you're in the STEM field, an area that unfortunately, particularly in Kenya, doesn't have a lot of young women in it, or women in general. Maybe briefly tell us how you ended up in the technology area. Was it because of a mentor? Was it because of networking? The topic at hand? Just briefly tell us, how did you end up there?
Yes. So yeah, I'm in the nonprofit field, and I'm also in the technology field, and both of them have become due to networking. As I stated, yeah, even in Akilidada, it was still the same. When I was in university, that was 4 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I was invited for an emerging leaders conference training, at Akilidada. I showed up. It was a 4-day training. I was in Eldoret. I had to travel all the way, and it was at school we had only been given a 2-week holiday. But for me, it was really worth it to come and grow my leadership skills. It was the first of its kind that I ever attended, and I credit that to all the growth that I have had so far in my leadership. And yeah, I encourage even those ones in universities, don't wait until that when you've finished campus, that's when you start going out to engage in volunteer activities or in trainings. Even now, there are a lot of trainings that are going on, even post-COVID, when physical trainings will be back. Just be on the lookout. Yeah, get into spaces that grow you instead of those that demoralize you and all your potentials. So in terms of tech, it was still the same, because technology also is a very wide field, and I needed to come into cybersecurity. Yeah, of course, I was motivated by all the hacking movies that we see online, all the hacking series, and you think that like hacking is very immediate. And I was really bothered about hacking, like why should someone access my data without my knowledge? Well, it seems really good, but why should someone access it? So I became really passionate about data security. I started reaching out to the professionals on LinkedIn, those who are based in Kenya, because they know how the landscape looks like. Mm-hmm. And one of them recommended me to a cybersecurity community. And once I joined that cybersecurity community, I was really challenged because it was a women in cyber community. I was really challenged by those women. Like, they know a lot of things and I know nothing. Okay. So yeah, I had to upskill myself. And even to date, I keep upskilling myself in that sector. I keep doing a research around the same and presenting in conferences. And that is how I've also grown in that field. Because once I research on something, or once I know about any information, I feel now the urge to share it instead of just attending conferences and just sitting down. And yeah, I would also challenge every woman in this field, every woman in this technical field, that also get out there, because no one will give you a seat on the table. Not even on this field alone, even in leadership, no one will give you a seat in the table. Please go for it, grab it and go and force yourself into that table. And by forcing yourself, I mean, you have also to be a subject leader in any of your fields. If it's leadership, can you speak about it? If it's volunteering, and yeah, volunteer. If you can volunteer, please go ahead and do so. Yeah.
Okay. That's very good to note. Thank you for that. I guess maybe my last question to you is, Of course, based on what you mentioned, you've reached where you are by standing on the shoulders of giants. How can other young girls upcoming stand on your shoulders? What are your social media handles? Where can they find information about you? How can they reach you if they want to build a professional working relationship with you?
So yeah, you can find me online. All my social media handles are Diana Waithanji. I'm deliberate about putting them with one name. So on Facebook, Diana Waithanji, on LinkedIn, Diana Waithanji, on Twitter at Diana Waithanji, and on Instagram at Diana Waithanji. Well, TikTok is not secure anymore, so I'm not there. Yeah, so you can find me on those links, and also please follow us at Akili Dada on Twitter, Akili Dada on Facebook. Also check our website for any other engagements that you may have.
Well, thank you so much, Diana. I really appreciate the fact that you joined us today. It really speaks to the power of networking, and you have really unpacked this discussion very well. To our audiences, ladies and gentlemen, we will now open the floor for you to answer, or ask any questions to Diana or any of the other panelists, and let us know what you think. So we will take that now, and we look forward to seeing what you have to say. Thank you once again, Diana, and let's move on to the question and answer section.